And welcome to Hannity. Last night's results have made it all but certain that we in America, we will have a rematch between Donald J. Trump and Joe Biden come November. That is, of course, assuming that Joe doesn't have a disastrous fall or complete cognitive breakdown. What we are seeing from Donald Trump, we're watching history, frankly. Now, he continues to win contest after contest despite opposition from the radical left and what is a politicized and weaponized system, Department of Justice. And meanwhile, warning signs there flashing for Joe Biden. He lost the American Samoa caucuses to somebody I know I never heard of. I don't think anybody's ever heard of. And elsewhere, a staggering number of Democratic voters, when given the opportunity, opted to vote for the uncommitted option. Look there on your page, in a protest against the president. Minnesota, almost 19%. North Carolina, almost 13%. Massachusetts, more than 9%. In Colorado, over 8%. Tennessee, 7%. And 8% in Alabama, 6%. And in Iowa, almost 4% of voters. Yeah, they selected not Joe, any other option but Joe. As we continue. Then we have the polls. Look at Gallup. Joe has a 38% approval rating. That's near record low. Recently, ABC had 86% of Americans saying, frankly, he's too old. Currently, Joe is losing in the New York Times Siena poll, the Fox News poll, Wall Street Journal poll, NBC poll, CBS poll. Well, Trump is at 52% there, and add to that, he is bleeding massive support among what has historically been the Democratic Party base, including African Americans, Hispanic Americans, young people, and suburban women. Now, on the important issues of our time, Joe is viewed as a failure on almost every issue. Now, I do add caution to all of this. We are literally 243 days away until Election Day, which is the equivalent of 10 lifetimes in politics, and a lot can and will happen between now and November 5th of this year. But still, over at Morning Joe, Liberal Joe, our old friend at MSDNC, he's trying to claim that Donald Trump wouldn't want to debate Joe Biden on policy. Take a look.
It's a damn shame that Donald Trump won't submit to this because he's such a coward when it comes to politics. But it would be great to have Joe Biden right there, Donald Trump right there, around any table, and say there's no shouting, there's no this, there's no insults. We're going to ask you about policy and actually have them talk about, because Joe Biden, like I said, can take you around the world 100 times.
Well, Liberal Joe, you might want to look at this. This afternoon, Trump offered to debate Joe Biden, quote, anytime, anywhere, any place. We're now in the midst of the biggest choice election in our lifetime. It's an election choice between the radical left and their insane ideology and common sense American first conservatism and an agenda that's working, that would work for the American people. A choice between the climate alarmist religious cultists coming for your cars, your appliances, your stoves, refrigerators, freezers, washing machines, even your steak, your red meat, and other food that you eat, versus not just energy independence, but it's a choice between energy dominance, a choice between law and order and safety and security, which is a prerequisite for pursuing happiness in this country, versus defund, dismantle, reimagine, no bail laws, and the police bye-bye. It's a choice between a thriving economy, lower taxes, less regulation, and lower interest rates, or the Biden policies leading to more than 60% of Americans that live currently paycheck to paycheck. A choice between peace through strength or more appeasement of our top geopolitical adversaries, Russia, China, Iran, and others. The entire world is watching a weak and frail Joe Biden fail to stand up to them on every front. It is a choice between safe and secure borders or Joe Biden's open borders agenda that is allowing millions of unvetted illegal immigrants into our country from places that hate us, including China, Russia, Iran, Syria, Afghanistan. This is what is at stake come November 5th. And last night, as results were pouring in, well, over there at MSDNC and their Super Tuesday panel, they were actually mocking Republicans for their concern, in this particular case in the state of Virginia, over the issues and, of course, Well, they also played the race card. Take a look.
Republican voters don't vote that way. They don't vote based on economics or based on the benefits they're getting economically from the president. They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges, get rid of DEI. That is what they're voting on. They're just voting specifically on racial animus. At this stage, it isn't about economics.
No, which is why Trump killed the immigration bill.
Correct.
That's why. And because otherwise he can't run against the other and brown people and people who don't look like him, like his supporters, his base of supporters, coming across the border and scaring people and killing people or whatever he's threatening out there. I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build a wall. Like, what?
Seriously? I dare them to say that to Laken Riley's parents. Let me educate these sanctimonious conspiracy theory peddling leftist elites over at MSDNC, because illegal immigration is a nationwide problem, and Virginia is no exception, and voters were rightfully concerned. Listen to these alleged crimes committed by illegals in the Commonwealth of Virginia just in the last year. An illegal immigrant from Venezuela was arrested. Why? Allegedly sexually assaulting a 14-year-old little girl. Just last month, Jen Psaki, by the way, are you still giggling? Maddow, you giggling too? And this past June, another illegal was arrested attempting to abduct a 4-year-old little girl. And in August, an illegal from Nicaragua was arrested after allegedly fracturing a police officer's skull in a DUI. Also that month, yet another illegal immigrant was charged with abduction and 3 counts of rape. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. They don't keep national statistics on violent crimes of illegal immigrants. But over at MSDNC, well, you got Jen Psaki, you got conspiracy theorist extraordinaire Rachel Maddow, and Joy Reid. You want to mock this? Why don't you take the time and call their family, see how they feel about it? And you want to mock voters and their concerns over what is a very real, clear, present danger, which is the biggest national security threat in our lifetime? Or, as former top FBI officials said, an invasion of military-age men? It's all frankly repulsive, ignorant, out of touch, but it shouldn't surprise anyone. This is but the latest example in a long list of insults launched at Republicans, irredeemable, deplorable, smelly Walmart shoppers, and on and on and on. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.